The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Thursday, May 2nd, and today is National Life Insurance Day, you guys. It's also National Truffle Day. Everyone loves some truffles. And
truffle butter.
That's right. And it's also the National Day of Prayer, because, you know, this world is in some desperate need of some help. So probably you should get on your knees and pray today. And thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above on your screen to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. Kicking off first, that's right, we have the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte, the baby diaper changer, the Cabbage Patch Cabbager, and the dope overall dad. That's right. It is the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte. Sorry, Rico.
Applause, man.
Yeah, whatever. You got to bring your own applause, bro.
There it is.
There you
We
go.
have no camera today?
I got you.
Audio?
What's that? There you go. What do you mean?
Audio? There we go.
No,
There we
you're
go.
good.
Okay,
You're good. You're good. Adam's driving, bro. Relax.
Handsome man.
No, we good. We Gucci. All right, man. So, my story today, it's a little clap back. And you know what, everybody? This Tuesday, the biggest news headline in modern U.S. history hit the airwaves. And you know it would not take long for the boy to respond. In less than 24 hours, too, because we all know Drake is quicker with the pen and with the memes. And in other news, it took Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer less than 24 hours, too. He was likely inspired by Aubrey Graham's quick-fire 10 Things I Hate About You IG post aimed at Kendrick Lamar. But Chuck Schumer decided to clap back at all that rescheduling euphoria himself. That's right. Schumer, Senate Finance Committee Chairman Ron Wyden, and Senator Cory Booker, and a coalition of other Democratic senators have officially reintroduced a bill to federally legalize marijuana. Kyle Yeager reported that after biggest industry headline yet dropped about the Justice Department announcing that it has moved to reschedule cannabis in a historic policy shift, the senators held a press conference on Wednesday to unveil the Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act, or CAOA. And I'm still upset they didn't seize the opportunity to call it CAOA 2, Electric Boogaloo, but maybe that's just the 80s baby in me. Yeager said that the senators' move to file broad law legalization measure also comes as industry advocates continue to push to enact narrower legislation focused on cannabis businesses' access to banking services. Here's what it said. It's past time for the federal government to catch up to the attitudes of American people when it comes to cannabis. That's why we're reintroducing the Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act legislation that would finally end the federal prohibition on cannabis while prioritizing safety, research, workers' rights, and restorative justice. We have more work to do to address decades of over-criminalization, particularly in communities of color. But today's reintroduction shows the movement is growing, and I will keep working until we achieve meaningful change. At the start of the press conference on Wednesday, Schumer said the bill would right the grave wrongs, and in place of the war on drugs, their bill would lay a foundation for something very different: a just, responsible, and common sense approach to cannabis regulation. And they actually have a video on that whole thing, but I didn't post that up this morning. But why didn't stress the CAOA does not tell states what to do, but it provides them with the tools to effectively implement the laws their voters and legislators choose: public health, public safety. Opportunity and social justice must be at the core of any cannabis reform proposal, and it's crucial stakeholders continue to have a seat at the table, he said. I look forward to working with my colleagues and advocates across the country to make these priorities a reality. Wyden also said that the DEA's rescheduling decision should be viewed as a kick in the pants in terms of Congress get going to deal with it, and particularly to not just reschedule but deschedule. All right, Ronnie. Why? With a deschedule of bus right there. Booker, meanwhile, said that it's long past time to confront the failure of war on drugs, particularly its disproportionate impact on communities of color and low-income individuals. We must take proactive and significant steps to rectify these ongoing injustices. Thousands of people have suffered at the hands of our broken cannabis laws, and the Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act will finally dismantle the outdated federal marijuana prohibition, expunge past convictions for people with low-level cannabis offenses, and ensure restorative justice for communities impacted by the war on drugs. These common sense policies will ensure a more equitable criminal justice system and promote public safety, end quote. Senator also addressed a bipartisan marijuana banking bill that Schumer has championed. He said that the last Congress got to the 1 yard line with the Secure and Fair Enforcement Banking Act, and it was a step in the right direction with certain equity provisions attached. Yeager also pointed out it marks a notable rhetorical shift compared to the press conference unveiling the original CAOA in 2021, where Booker vowed to block any efforts to advance cannabis banking reform before legalization is enacted. CAOA is being reintroduced with a total of 18 original co-sponsors. In addition to the trio leading the bill, there were other members that were signed on, were as followed. Senator Patty Murray from Washington, Democrat; Jeff Merkley, Oregon, Democrat; Kristen Gillibrand, Democrat, New York; Elizabeth Warren, Democrat, Massachusetts; Ed Markey, Massachusetts; Michael Bennett, Colorado; Gary Peters, Michigan; Tina Smith, Minnesota; Hickenlooper, Colorado; Ben Ray, Lujan, New Mexico; Alex Padilla, California; Peter Welch, Vermont; Raphael Warnock, Georgia; John Fetterman, Pennsylvania; LaFonza Butler, California. Notable absences were all Republicans. A few of the key points of the CAOA, as reintroduced, were requiring the Attorney General to finalize a rule removing marijuana from the CSA within 180 days of enactment, imposing a 5% federal excise tax on small to mid-sized cannabis producers, which would gradually increase to 12.5% after 5 years. After large businesses, the tax would start at 10% and increase to a maximum of 25%. Only those 21 and older would be allowed to purchase recreational marijuana products, as is already policy in states that have legalized for adult use, and to expunge the records of people with low-level federal cannabis convictions within 1 year of enactment, while allowing those currently incarcerated over marijuana to petition the courts for relief. And the final one here that I'm going to read off, there's a bunch of them. You can actually go to high9news.com to check out the full list. But the last one I'm going to read is create a federal regulatory framework for the marijuana industry with the FDA, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, ATF, and the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, all playing key roles for the but basically, as Yeager pointed out, the bill's identical to the earlier version that the senators previously introduced in 2022, except the language around fair hiring and banking was removed because that issue has already been addressed in the most recent National Defense Authorization Act. Schumer said in a floor speech earlier Wednesday that the CAOA is a comprehensive and necessary update to federal government approach to cannabis, and that he's proud to be the first majority leader ever to call for an end to the marijuana prohibition, because he's seen both the consequences of outdated drug laws and the benefits of common sense cannabis regulation at the state level. It's time for Congress to follow suit. I'm not sure which state level he's talking about because he is in New York, but I guess it is what it is. And we all know it wouldn't take long for Chuck Schumer to lower his librarian-ass glasses and serve up another round of grandstanding that most likely will not be passed anytime soon. But hey, it's just how the boy gets down. But what do y'all think? Will the CAOA have a chance of getting through and passing into law before November's election? Or are we just in for another endless round of bullshit? I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News. Let's talk about it.
I mean,
thank you.
Chance in hell.
The CAOA is not a good bill, and I'm not shocked at all that Senator Schumer is taking the opportunity to try to steal some of the light from President Biden in this with his stealing his thunder. Exactly. Like this is classic Senator Schumer right here. Everyone knows that the COA is way overpriced as far as the taxation that it calls for. So it's not a viable bill even in the first place. People just need to throw this in the trash and get behind the States Reform Act and back Nancy Mace, and then they'd have something really going for them.
You know what I want to say? They in 2002, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the Democrats still had the majority in both, at least in the House. The thing is, they had the majority before. Mm-hmm. They had they had Barack Obama. None of these things were thought about before. And I can't keep falling for the carrot with the stick again. You guys, mm-hmm. Listen, it's the same thing over and over again. All of these things, they said, we did this before. It got to the one mark line or whatever it is that Chuck Schumer said. Chuck Schumer's a liar. All of these people are liars. They know that the Republicans are not going to vote for it. It's not a Republican idea. Clearly, they put it there knowing that Republicans wouldn't vote for it and it would stale, but they would have the fingers that they can point back at the Republicans and say, see, you guys didn't do it. It's an incredible idea if you're going to give people relief. It's an incredible idea to make it legal, but that's just an idea. We know for a fact that they have the power to actually do the actions, and they've never done it. I'm not even remotely close to thinking that Chuck Schumer or these people are going to do anything about it.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of lip service, bro. I'm with you on that. Whole bunch of lip service. He's just trying to steal some of the limelight, some of the thunder, some of the press, because I mean there's like 7 full Google pages that are all talking about rescheduling. Okay, when you type in when you're looking for different marijuana news and whatnot, and Chuck Schumer wanted to make sure that he was getting in that queue, and that's why they did this. It's all about grandstanding. Maybe someone should build him a stadium.
This is not getting fixed until people roll up their sleeves, go behind closed doors, stop the bullshit grandstanding, and figure out what do you want to accomplish, and then everybody gives a little bit and you come out and announce what you've done. This is all kabuki theater. Mm-hmm. It's been going on for a hell of a long time, and it's not going to help me. It's not going to help the average American. Mm-hmm. This is just political grandstanding, and it's getting real tired.
Yeah,
it's old.
I couldn't agree more with you. Stone, you have any other final thoughts on this? That's a great shirt you have on today, Stone. You should show everybody this.
You almost got it.
Oh, oh man. Dangling it. Look at that shirt. Look at that shirt, bro. Look at that hair on that.
That shirt is fire, fellas.
Yes.
Lego.
Yes.
Get an air horn.
No.
Coming to the High at 9 shop soon.
I'm trying to give it an air horn. I don't know why it's not like I don't know what's going on with my.
Don't worry, guys. We're gonna go to a commercial. We're gonna be right back.
Oh man, that was weird. Hey, you America. Do I look like Sean Connery? Good
morning, America. Saman Razani coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles, California with the one and only highest host, Mr. Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast? You can find it on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. No excuses in 2024. If you haven't checked us out, check it out now. And also, check out what the Prophet's doing in 2024.
Yeah, I know it was delayed. We're on a little time delay here, but big shout out to my man Stone Slade coming through with those Fuego shirts. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But up next, y'all know who it is, the High 9 News head honcho, the man, the myth, the legend who walks around smoking the best weed in the world everywhere he goes. He's the highest Republican in every room, and High 9 News' very own DEI czar.
Yeah,
Jason Beck.
That's right. That's fair. The DEI czar.
Bringing in the diversity, equity, and inclusion.
We bring all that to the table.
To the trap.
Yes. Man, let me tell you something, Rico. I got some blunt truth for you guys. Are you guys ready for this? Because no significant changes for federal employees if the Biden administration reclassifies marijuana, you guys. This basically says that basically everyone that's a federal employee is still in the same boat that they were already in. The Biden administration and Congress are both taking steps to reclassify marijuana as a less dangerous drug. But the blunt truth is that these efforts would have a much less of an impact on federal workforce compared to the general U.S. public. The Associated Press reported on Tuesday that the DEA is preparing to downgrade cannabis from a Schedule I to a Schedule III drug under the Controlled Substances Act. The decision, according to the AP's reporting, still requires review from the Office and Management of Budget. If approved by the OMB, the DEA would also gather public feedback before finalizing its decision. The Department of Health and Human Services last August recommended the DEA reclassify cannabis to a Schedule III drug. And in quotes, DOJ is looking into that. They're moving with that process, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre told the reporters on Wednesday. Ryan Nerney, managing partner of the Ladera Ranch, California office at the law firm Tully Rinkley, told Federal News Network moving cannabis from a Schedule I to a Schedule III could potentially have some impact on pre-employment screening and drug testing of candidates applying for federal government positions. In a quote, Schedule I through Schedule III, it's still technically considered a controlled substance. It would be more akin to somebody misusing prescription drugs. Obviously, at least in some circumstances, you can't appear at work under the influence of something without a prescription, or you obviously can't appear at work under the influence of alcohol or anything like that, Nerney said on Wednesday. Prior marijuana use wouldn't be an automatic disqualifier from federal employment like other Schedule I drugs, including LSD and ecstasy. But Nerney said agencies would still keep strict rules about marijuana use. In quotes, it would still be along the lines of federally illegal, and anything that's federally illegal, it doesn't even matter if someone's employed in California or Colorado because it's a federal security clearance. That is still a concern, he said. Nerney said a history of marijuana use especially will still have significant impact on security clearance holders because it would still be illegal on a federal level. Around the edges, there could be some changes, but ultimately it's still part of the Controlled Substances Act. So until they actually take action to decriminalize and take it 100% off of the CSA, which would mean descheduling, really there is nothing going to be significant changes to the federal employee process, security clearance process, anything like that, he added. Following the Biden administration's action, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, this was Rico's story right there, talking about them reintroducing the CAOA and stealing all the limelight and air trying to out of the room. And they say that this legislation, according to a fact sheet from when the bill was first introduced in 2022, removes unnecessary federal employee pre-employment and random drug testing for cannabis. The bill, however, would keep drug testing in place for certain categories of federal employees in national security, law enforcement, and commercial transportation. And a staff member in Biden's office confirmed these provisions impacting federal employees remain in the reintroduced bill. However, the staffer added that it remains unclear what implications, if any, the Biden administration's reclassification of cannabis would have on federal employees. And currently, federal regulations and a 1986 Reagan administration executive order directs the heads of federal agencies to implement drug testing programs for federal employees, including testing for cannabis. And Schumer said at a press conference on Wednesday that the bill would expunge the criminal records of many Americans with low-level marijuana offenses that haunt them and inhibit them for decades, preventing them from getting good jobs and leading good, strong lives, he said. Getting caught with a little bit of marijuana for you to get saddled with a serious criminal record that prevented the person from getting a good job, buying a good home, getting ahead in life, Schumer said. The bill, however, allows drug testing for marijuana to continue for federal law enforcement officers or federal employees determined to have significant involvement in national security, the protection of life and property, public health, and safety. And Booker applauded the Biden administration efforts to reclassify marijuana in a quote. He said, "I think it's a great step that the Biden administration is moving in the direction of not making this a Schedule I drug, and the absurdity of that is outrageous," he said. "But honestly, the bill we are introducing today is the solution to this long, agonizing, hypocritical, frankly, unequally enforced set of bad laws." Well, Mr. Senator Cory Booker, I have to say this to you. When it goes to Schedule 3, that's going to knock out every single social equity applicant that has ever applied for a license and their ability to maintain their license. And so I want to know, since you grandstanded on safe banking a while ago saying that it was unjust and all this and that, why aren't you doing the same for all of the social justice licensee holders that will be disqualified when it moves to Schedule 3? And I'm going to rest my case on that. And I can't wait to hear what you guys to say. This is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News Hour. What do y'all think?
Thank you very much. Even up the very end of it and how you just called them the biggest hypocrite ever. Mm-hmm. These people understand that when they make it a Schedule 3, that basically, essentially, they didn't do anything but give pharmaceutical companies carte blanche to start. Yeah, just to have control. Like, this is what it is. This is them essentially stealing the last bit of happiness and joy that we have. God bless the trap.
I'll just say this: if it wasn't a mids market before, it's definitely going to be a mids market after Schedule 3.
Facts.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts, Rico? Oh, Stone's getting into his carrot.
I love Stone so much.
Stone's getting into his carrot.
I'm pushing 3.
You're pushing 3.
I think it's sad. Everybody that brings up, the benefits of it, they all failed to bring up the potential bad shit that it could bring.
The benefits don't outweigh the bad. They don't even come close. The only good benefit that I've seen is they're talking about it's going to eliminate 280E. That's the only benefit that I see that Schedule 3 brings at all to the table at all, period. And
you have a license.
Yeah, but
you get a license, 280E important, but for everybody else who doesn't have a dispensing license through the DEA, I mean, you don't get any relief from anything.
Dale, my point is that Schedule 3 isn't going to open up any new markets. There's a lot of people that think, oh, we're going to be able to have it in my state now all of a sudden now that it goes to Schedule 3, and that's not reality. These people are living in a fantasy world.
Well, we've got 5 decades of every state and the United States government infiltrating drug laws into so many laws, so many administrative rules and regulations. To think that you're going to pass one law and all this is going to be fixed is, mushrooms should do that much for you. That's bullshit. It's bad thinking. It's not going to happen. And as long as you stay within the Controlled Substances Act, there's going to be problems here. And cops still being tested for weed. When does a cop get to go home, smoke a blunt, like he used to be able to go home and down a 6-pack, and the next day go to work and not have someone fire him for that? I mean, that's stupid.
So
cops need breaks from shit too.
I mean, if you're not in New York,
Oh boy! So there,
I mean,
there's
at least
two,
at least let the cop hit the vape.
So there's two comments in here.
Right,
There's two
all those
comments I want to
videos.
share with you guys.
Remember when
in here.
everything was during COVID and the protests? They had those videos come out of cops smoking weed in the streets in New York.
So Vermont Alternative, Willie, he says the only people excited about these are those who can afford to have a full-time pharmacist at their dispensary, because Schedule 3 drugs do have to be administered through a pharmacist, which is going to present a whole another host of issues for retailers going forward. And Nick Bradley says in the chat, he says the minimum for Schedule 1 trafficking is 15 years. The maximum for Schedule 3 trafficking is 10 years. So people are still going to be going to jail, is basically the synopsis on this. Like it ain't gonna stop. This is just the drug war 2.0 reinvigorated with a whole new way for them to get around Rohrabacher Farr, which is now Blumenauer McClintock.
Yeah.
There's no magic answer here.
You still got that carrot? You still got that carrot stone? You got
that carrot? You got the little dangly. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah. There
Rascally wabbits.
Mm-hmm. How come you cut the top off? You don't like
bit
green?
it.
He doesn't like green?
It's circumcised.
Bro, I caught that carrot. I was fast enough.
You
know
was
what I'm
fast
saying?
enough? Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You know, there is one other point in regards to this that I think that a lot of people aren't recognizing is that once it goes to a Schedule 3, what are all these local municipalities going to do with all of the tax revenue? Because I don't think that they can tax a Schedule 3 drug the same way that they are taxing it as an adult use commodity product.
What are they going to do?
What they going to do when their revenues run all dry? Mm-hmm.
The same
That's another thing too, is that there is no adult use Schedule 3 product besides the new one that's coming in. So like, there's so much shit they haven't addressed of how they're going to handle it, and that's what I want somebody to do. Stop coming on and telling me this is all the good shit that's going to be. Let's talk about the potential bad shit, and let's put everybody's minds at rest and let us know: is this going to have to go through a fucking pharmacy? Is this, what are we going to do here? Is this going to screw the social equity people who can't apply for DEA licenses? Like, what are we doing?
It's going to screw them all, Stone. You know that. And all that. Speaking of screwing, yeah, we're going to screw right on into Mr. Dale Schafer. He's everybody's favorite little Tio Loco. And at one point in time, did some time for a cannabis crime. That's right. He's the founder of Armada Law Practice and ready to piss up a rope because of what Biden is going on in America. That's right. It is none other than Mr. Dale Schafer.
Good morning, everybody. When all is said and done, I don't see anybody trying to give me a pardon.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Fuck you all. Okay? So my story today involves a case that the United States Supreme Court decided to take up, now figure out for us. And it involves Rico, and not our, dopest dad in the street, Rico Lamitte. It's the racketeering influence in corrupt organizations, federal law. And this is the civil component where people who are injured by racketeering influence in corrupt organizations in their business or property have a private right of action. And that's sort of the stage here. And it seems that a truck driver went and bought some hemp products, and hemp manufacturers had put out there in the advertisements and on the package that contains no THC. Well, hemp can have up to 0.3% THC, which is not a lot, but apparently they were saying there's none in here. I don't know if it took any steps to take it out. It seemed to have been a lawful product. Guy's a truck driver. He starts, I don't know if he's got gummies. It doesn't really say. He starts using this product, and he pisses dirty for THC. Okay, well, he happens to be a truck driver, and they didn't fill the details in, but apparently he was, for 29 years, been driving truck. He's got insurance benefits. He's got retirement. And they, basically walk him in and say, you piss dirty for THC. You're fired. Get out of here. Mm-hmm. Well, he runs to court, and he files under a private civil RICO allegation that these people harmed me because of their racketeering activity. That there's an enterprise here which meets the requirements for the civil RICO, and so I want to be compensated for my loss of wages, insurance, retirement, stuff like that. And this case was getting ready to go to trial, and the attorneys for the CBD companies filed what we call a summary judgment motion, said there's no triable issue of fact. You cannot pursue personal injury damages in a private RICO. I once lost wages. Those are typically personal injury type of recoveries, and the court granted the motion, and the plaintiff was told to pack your dolls and go home. Well, they appealed it, and a decision came out of the appellate court that said, hang on, this is not personal injury damages. This guy was injured in his business interest because he lost a job. That's his business, it's a job, so we're going to allow these damages to go forward. And it appears that there's a split across the country. 2 federal appellate courts say you can recover for personal injury damages, and here in California, our 9th Circuit's one of them, and 3 say no, you can't. You got to prove an injury to a business or property, or you can't sustain the action. It's going to be dismissed on you. So this is going to be in the Supreme Court, and one of the concerns that jumped out at me is that these are hemp companies producing a lawful product. And ordinarily, if something is mislabeled, okay, you don't go into federal court seeking damages under RICO because they put on a bottle of, Jim Beam that it's 150 proof and it's only 100 proof or something like that. That is not the subject of a RICO action. And these CBD companies are doing lawful business. If there's a problem here, there was a mislabeling, or they didn't put on there, whatever else does, disclaimers that when we say no THC, there could be, a teeny weeny bit. And, be careful because you may piss dirty or something. I don't know what they're going to have to do for warnings, but it seemed to me that anybody going into the cannabis industry, including hemp, may want to pay attention to this, because if you are engaged in lawful activity and somebody claims they were damaged by something, you could end up with a federal RICO case against you. And, the bottom line, they allow damages and attorney's fees here. So they should cost these companies a lot of money. And so I'm going to be watching what the Supreme Court has to say here. And this will come back up down the line. But I want to throw back at you guys your thoughts about RICO and whether they should be recover for personal injuries, whether it's a personal injury. This is splitting the baby up kind of fine to me, it seems to me. So back at you. What do you guys think?
Yeah, this kind of sounds like a little ambulance chasing to me, Dale.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of that arguments for private attorney general types of cases in general. I mean, this falls under that basic rubric, is that if there's a group of criminal laws or a group of laws the state normally goes after, we'll allow people to do it under a private attorney general type of theory and recover attorney fees, which green lights, as you say, ambulance chasers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we... Here.
No, I'm sorry. Someone's going to say something. I'll say something after them.
Got it, Tony.
I wanted to ask, so what I wanted to say is this something like there was a person that had a coffee at McDonald's. It was hot.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah, she spilled it on herself.
You remember that, right?
Yeah, she drove off. She set it in between her legs. She drove off and then sued McDonald's because the coffee was too hot, and she won. She won. Yep, and McDonald's changed their whole temperature on their coffee.
And they had to put caution contains hot liquid, right? So now maybe this may be the thing that causes CBD companies to say, hey, this product has a very minimum amount of THC, which if you use and with one use, you shouldn't test positive, or or something to the effect of but there should be some fine print put there. That way people can clearly say, well, that way they can clearly say when someone tries this again that, hey, we already labeled our stuff. And for people who do have marijuana products, this may be the opportunity for you to get ahead of the curve and just start to put small little fine printing on your packaging. That way you don't have to worry about something like this in the future, if in fact it does go against businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I might be good with that as long as the government doesn't dictate it, because we got so much dictation right now. What's got to go on these damn products? You got to have a huge bag just to put an eighth in because of all the shit you've got to print on it and the size of the font. I mean, it gets ridiculous, okay? And that really is one of my points here, is some of the shit gets ridiculous. At what point are people responsible for their own activities or their own stupidity?
I totally agree with that. Exactly, Dale. I'm with you 100% on that.
I am too.
What do you call a penis-shaped potato?
Well, I think I know a couple of guys I could attach names to, but you know,
it's not Potato Head. You guys are funny.
I'll leave it at that because I get myself in trouble.
You have any? I know, Rachelle, you're getting here a little late. Do you have anything you want to say on this before we go to a commercial?
Rachelle.
Hey guys, good to see you. I guess I'm just curious about what the long-term implications of this case would be, regardless of how things shake out. Like, does it impact consumers? Is it more about the trucking industry and like industries where they've had issues with CBD? Like,
I think it's going to impact. I think it's going to impact all producers and labelers of these types of products, to where they would have that type of they would obviously incur a type of liability if this case was successful.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I'd like to see them foreclose a lot of this shit at the federal level and just say, we got plenty of laws. I mean, if you go buy hot coffee and it burns your crotch and you didn't know hot coffee would burn your crotch, I don't know what to tell you, but it shouldn't be a federal action. I mean, go out and sue somebody for personal injury. Some of this stuff, I mean, and I'm an attorney, I look at this and go, how in the hell do you run a business when every place you look, some you know, thin-skinned little shit's going to sue you for something that you know, I was taught you move on, you know, come on, dude.
Exactly.
Stop.
So that's what prepaid legal is for.
Oh boy. Yeah, and on that prepaid legal, we're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.
The Control Tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The Control Tower from Highly Educated.
All right, stop whatever you're doing. Make sure you hit that like button. I know we'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. And YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show, you can read directly on our website at www.highat9news.com. And thank you to all of you. We just hit 550,000 views on the channel. And so thank you all for watching and tuning in. I'm Jason Beck, and this is Smokey Vanilla. And if you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to get a stretch and smoke with Smokey Vanilla.
Hi, I'm Smokey Vanilla. I have my bachelor's degree in kinesiology, and I'm a sports massage therapist and stretch coach. I focus mostly on individuals that are in sport with chronic pain or injury. I love to intuitively create and customize a session based on the individual that I'm working with. We'll go over a few postural assessments, work together to create a wellness journey based on the health history, past injuries, or anything still affecting you today. And we'll get you back on your feet right away with less pain.
We're about to stretch, and then we're gonna smoke, because we're gonna get on our stretch and smoke. If you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to come on down and get a stretch and smoke with none other than Smokey Vanilla.
Oh yeah, when this dope dad out the great purple state of Texas ain't
really
cooking up fresh t-shirt heat,
it's really rare.
You best believe he's hitting the high road to escape the rooftop Delta 8 dab sessions that ATX is known for. Come to the stage, y'all know who it is. Stone Slade.
I get a golf clap, maybe? Everybody? Give me okay.
Golf clap. Golf clap for Stone. Yeah, Stone. We love you, Stone. We love you, Stone.
I need no clap.
I'm
clean. I don't have
I gave you the clap, though. You ain't see. Look at the screen. Look,
whoa. Pause.
All right. Pause for the clap.
Yeah.
Hold your hats, everybody. We've got quite the legal roller coaster ride today. It seems like some residents in Highland Park, New Jersey, were trying to throw a wrench into the gears of adult use cannabis sales, but the courts had something to say about it. Judge Jack Sabatino is writing for a 3-judge panel, and he's saying, hold your horses, folks. New Jersey's adult use cannabis law can coexist with federal marijuana enforcement laws. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a fancy way of saying, let's just all get along, shall we? Now, these Highland Park residents were up in arms, claiming that allowing the sale of adult use cannabis was a federal offense. They even brought up the big guns, saying that it violated the Controlled Substances Act and other laws, but Judge Sabatino wasn't having any of it. He said, and I quote, the state's adult use law doesn't violate either section of the Supremacy Clause. But here's the kicker. The Highland Park plaintiffs argued that a previous case about medical cannabis didn't apply here, and they were like, nah, this is different. But the Attorney General's office and the borough's officials were like, yeah, it's all the same. It's like a game of legal ping pong. And get this, federal justice officials told local governments to chill on prosecuting cannabis activities that are illegal under state law. And Congress even passed some bills saying that they couldn't use the funds to prosecute cannabis crimes in states where it's legal. So it's like the feds are telling them, hey, we're busy with other bigger fish to fry. And now Judge Sabatino had some words of wisdom for us all. He said, CREAMA, C-R-E-A-M-M-A, does not require any person to possess, purchase, or use marijuana. The statute does not require any business to sell marijuana or any municipality to adopt, as here, an ordinance to allow marijuana dispensaries within its borders. In other words, it's a free country. You do you. But let's not forget about the federal government's own dance with cannabis. They've been shifting their tune lately, as we all know, muddying the waters as they go. Just this week, the DEA confirmed they plan to reclassify cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. Now, that's a huge change that many in the industry are a little scared about what may come next. And speaking of changes, it's been over 2 years now since adult use cannabis sales launched in New Jersey. I can't believe it's already been that long. More than 100 dispensaries have opened up shop since then, including one right there in Highland Park. So it looks like the green wave is sweeping across the Garden State. And now New Jersey isn't the only one making moves. Courts in other states are backing up cannabis laws left and right. Oklahoma said, hey, our constitutional amendment is A-OK. And New Hampshire ruled that reimbursing the cost of medical marijuana is all good in the hood. Even New York got in the action with the court saying, Congress, hands off our weed laws. But folks, it ain't over yet. The trial court still has some paperwork to shuffle around, and attorneys on both sides are keeping mum for now. One thing's for sure, the no-fun police in Highland Park may want to loosen their grip because it looks like the green tide's rolling in, whether they like it or not. I'm Stone Slade for the High at 9 News.
Man, I'll tell you what, Stone, they should have argued that other law that we were talking about yesterday about those federal illegal employment union laws. They should have argued that. They would have had a winning case.
Instead, they're losers.
Instead, they're losers. Exactly right. I like what you did there, Stone. That was cute. That was great.
Big losers.
Big L's for them. Big old L's. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, though, bro. There is a lot of Karens out there in New Jersey.
Man.
I think that if you even say that, there might be some Karens who's going to put thumbs downs on here from New Jersey because they're going to be too upset that you said that.
I mean, it just is the truth, bro. I'm just speaking the truth. People are going to be upset when you speak truth.
The power Karens out there.
Yeah. Oh man, this story, you guys. I mean,
I'm sorry, Stone had to give us the story. I mean, he's such a good guy. I just felt bad for him. I'm like,
it's just like, come on, you guys do not have anything better to do than.
I know. It's this ambulance chasing mentality again, Stone. It's been
you know what?
They lost on this lawsuit.
Yeah. Right.
Just like throwing away money at this point.
You know what? I think that the Diddy thing has just unfolded a lot of ambulance chasing. I'm just saying.
Oh boy.
I'm just saying.
Here we go down the rabbit holes. We're gonna go to a commercial. We're gonna be right back. You guys get ready for the return of the shit show to Los Angeles, returning Friday, May 3rd, 7 p.m. to midnight at a brand new venue. Comedy sets by comedians such as Demi York, Lindsay Ames, Alyssa Phillips, Chris Thayer, Josh Shakespeare, Fumi Avi, Jay Snow, Brent Weinbach, Chris Kelly, and hosted by none other than Abdullah Saeed. So head over to www.cloudmedia.partners now to get your tickets, and we'll see you there. All right, coming up next, that's right, it's the man you love to hate, that's right. It's the Mr. Tony Montega. He's an activist. He's a former trapper, and he may even be a rapper when he's rapping that truth on his own show too on YouTube. So make sure you check him out on Rumble and YouTube. That's right, is none other than Mr. Tony Montega.
Thank you very much. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Somewhere around the world, it is truly what time it is. On behalf of me and the rest of my amazing co-hosts, we want to say thank you for being here with us, trapping early in the morning. And my story comes from, before I even read my story, I have to make one thing. I have someone watching, because I'm also showing this on different platforms that I have, and someone's watching this now live on my Instagram. I think it's I'm not gonna say what it is, but they're watching, and they said that New York, because they was watching the Chuck Schumer bill that we spoke about earlier, and they said the thing about New York is that the kids are so high on weed that they're on the corners with no motivation. And I just want to say to this beautiful follower that is watching, Miss Murph, they're not smoking weed, they're smoking fentanyl-laced hemp. Now I'm going to get to my story, because I wanted to make sure that I at least got to do that. I have all these flood warnings. This story comes from our fearless leader, Jason Beck, and it is reported by MJ Biz. Cookies to acquire related cannabis assets in Florida. Marijuana brand Cookies plans to acquire all operational cannabis assets related to the production and sale of Cookies branded cannabis products in Florida. For TRP Co. and affiliated companies, the high-profile marijuana brand did not provide a value for the transactions in a Wednesday news release. TRP's Co.'s websites list 7 Cookie brand retail locations in Florida, plus 3 stores coming soon and a delivery service. Cookies is currently involved in a legal dispute in California with independently owned retailer Cookies Retail, whose principal is Brandon Johnson. Johnson is also the CEO of TRP Co. Cookies said its acquisition announcement follows a recent Florida Supreme Court ruling to allow an adult use marijuana legislation measure on the November ballot, as well as Tuesday's report that the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration is approving federal marijuana rescheduling. Acquiring direct ownership of all of these Florida assets by exercising our contractual options to do so enables us to deliver on our original corporate strategy. It gives us full control over our supply chain and empowers us to provide the best customer experience with all of our stores and products in Florida. Cookies President Parker Burling said in a statement, Cookies said the Florida deals are still subject due to diligence and approvals. To my co-host, you guys tell me what you think about Cookies acquisitions and them putting their foot down in Florida and I guess basically grabbing up all the traps.
No. These aren't traps. So these are TRPs. TRP.
I know, but
hold on. No, it's not. No, it has nothing to do with trap. TRP is part. There's like 3 different sides to Cookies. You have 1212 Ventures, which is their funding side. You have Cookies as the entity, and then you have TRP, which is one of their retail partners, and which does a whole bunch of different stores, and they operate those stores and they brand them under the Cookies and Lemonade brand.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So what I'm saying is
what the TRP.
I'm sorry. Wait, but just so we don't, I'm using Ebonics. So when I mean trap, I mean like they're the bosses, and those are their trap locations that they're trapping out of. And if you're a boss, you supply someone with the work, and they trap for you. And what I'm trying to say, and just Ebonics, is they're taking control over it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
I'm trying to say, boss man.
All right.
Give you a little soul this morning, baby. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you black, but maybe you ain't have some of that coffee this morning to catch what I was saying.
I don't know, bro. But man, this is a big deal because Cookies is saying, hey, we're going to go and get all these licenses. We're already in lawsuits with TRP and this and that. And so we're going to go and capture all of these stores that are using our branding and everything else like that. and right in time for adult use legalization ballot measure on the ballot this November. Rico? I mean, Cookies did put in a decent chunk of money into the Florida initiative, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they did. They put their money where their mouth is.
No, hold on. That was Truly. Truly put it.
Truly's put a majority in, but if I remember correctly, Cookies put some money in there too. If I remember correctly,
Cookies put some money in it.
Look, I see Rachelle's bobbing her head. Do you remember that, Rachelle?
Yeah, and I've been hearing lots of whispers about Cookies' long-term play and plans for Florida. So these actions do not surprise me in the least. And I definitely understand Tony's point about his version of the trap. I think he's right.
Thank you, sis.
Cute.
Yeah. Oh, Jason.
None of that matters.
Jason getting tag team.
So,
like Drake over here, man. You gonna come back like Chuck Schumer? What's going on, man?
You guys.
You gonna come back like Chucky?
I'm not. I actually have some. I actually do have something to say about Chuck Schumer for you guys, but in regards with this, I mean, it's going to be. I think it's like 5 stores. It said in there that they currently have in Florida.
I'm not finding anything. I'm not finding anything on Cookies contributing to the ballot initiative at all.
You're not finding anything.
No, I was looking too.
Okay. All right. Well, like maybe I stand corrected. I
remember I covered the story. I think like about almost a year ago now.
Or maybe they were smart enough to let someone else do all the hard lifting and the heavy lifting.
Yeah,
maybe they were smart.
$287 was raised, other than the $40 million by True Leave, and that was like by like Florida Normal. I raised like the rest of that, but like it was all True Leave.
Oh no,
I remember now. And then we was talking about how, because I basically said that day too, I don't think it's gonna pass through. No one was helping. But I definitely remember that show now. I remember the show.
Well, I'll tell you what, since you guys did want to talk about some other comments, I got 2 comments in you guys from my aunt. All right, you're gonna love this real quick. Can't get student loan forgiveness, so we'll go for the weed people. Anything for the vote, she says.
Shout out to Auntie. She is a genius. That is.
And then hold on, she got another one. She got another one today, you guys. She's on fire. She says, you can have sex on Congress's floor, but don't smoke weed and work for us, she says.
Oh, you can do a lot on Congress's floor, according to January 6th hostages, right, Jason?
Boy. Oh, I knew you were going to go there with that.
You can do a lot. You can be invited in there by Capitol Police to destroy the property, and then
you can be invited in there by Marjorie Taylor Greene. And
I don't think she invited anyone in there.
Yeah.
Adam Hallway. Yeah, you can do whatever you want, I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because they're having butt naked, hot relations with each other. I'm just saying they have freak-offs in there. There was a guy who got caught and lost his job behind it too.
Yeah, he did. That part is 100% true. That's what she's actually is referencing.
These people are bad people.
Bad? I know what you're addressing, but what's worse, having like one rogue person?
It's actually 2 people.
I don't think those hundreds of people stormed anything.
Bro, yes. Stop it, Rico.
I don't think hundreds of people stormed anything, Rico. It's clear that people were told to go in there. They were allowed in the building, and they were ushered all throughout the building. And there are people who are currently released because of it.
None of what you hear and only half of what you see.
We're gonna roll into Rachelle, Rico. We're rolling into
that
Rachelle.
video didn't show people being allowed in. I'm just okay.
So let's just keep rolling.
Yeah.
You said it didn't? I can show you something.
Hold on. We're not going into all that. We're not going into all that. We're rolling into Rachelle.
All right. So when the cannabis industry's reigning AFOL champion ain't cooking up fresh heat in the proverbial Lego kitchen, she's a cannabis and psychedelics reporter and editor at Green State, doing the real job that we all pretend to do. Coming to the stage, y'all know who it is, Rachelle Gordon.
Get some hand claps for the sister right here.
Oh, yeah.
Give her some hand claps. Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for the warm welcome, even though I was late today. And before I start, I do want to give a shout out to the Lego company. They just debuted their Space themed minifigs along with a whole new line of space city sets. Very smart branding. First time they've come out with a minifig line that can integrate with a current line available. It's genius what they're doing over there. I hate them so much for making me spend so much money, but the sets are dope. So
you know that we've been a huge Lego fan, just so you know already. She just got her first 4 and up set, and she's hooked. So I just had to let that know.
Well, we're definitely going to offline about that. I want to see some pictures. Maybe we can even FaceTime, talk about her collection. I'm sure she'd like to see mine. So let's make sure that we do that. I know we've been talking a lot the last couple of days about rescheduling. Unfortunately, I missed yesterday's episode, so I didn't get to hear everyone's opinions. I have a feeling I know where you guys stand. But for my story today, I just wanted to share a few more reactions from the industry. Let's get into that. Experts reveal marijuana rescheduling predictions, worries, and woes. So while the DEA decision on marijuana rescheduling has ignited a firestorm within the cannabis community, from tears of joy to fits of rage, opinions about the shift run the gamut. And after the announcement was made, Green State put out a call for reactions. And the cannabis industry delivered. Let me tell you what, I have not had such a busy day on the phone and via email in a really long time. It was a lot to go through. I pulled out some of my favorite quotes. I'm not going to run through all of them. I published quite a few, so if you want to see if you made it or what other people in your lane think, please go to greenstate.com. Let's talk about the folks who issued statements that were touting the perceived wins, acknowledging that cannabis does have medicinal value from the government, fewer restrictions on licensed businesses, potential tax windfalls. A lot of folks wanted to stick to the positives and not focus on any perceived negatives. For example, Omar Delgado, the VP of retail at Ivy Hall Dispensary, said, "The proposed removal of cannabis from its unjust Schedule 1 classification marks a historic day for our industry. The removal of cannabis from Schedule 1 is not just a victory for us, it's a victory for justice, freedom, and human rights." And John Mueller, founder and CEO of Greenlight, agreed, quote, "This is a major nail in the coffin on a failed 50-year prohibition policy. Good riddance. Let it rest in peace. Are more than ready to be recognized as a legitimate industry on its way to becoming a $50 billion market," unquote. Now, this quote actually was very interesting because what I've been seeing a lot online are concerns about what Schedule 3 will mean when it comes to the FDA, when it comes to dispensing a medication. But Darwin Miller, technical director at Cannabis Safety and Quality, claims, quote, "First and foremost, there's no need to worry about this rescheduling killing the state programs currently in place. There's lots of misguided discussions about this, but there's truly no need for the type of fear-mongering we've been seeing online. Nothing is going to fundamentally change," unquote. And a lot of people disagreed with that. I'm sure a lot of you saw a post from pharmacist Anthony Minetti going around the internet, who posted on LinkedIn saying, "I strongly advise you to read," oh wait, this is another post that he said it wouldn't embed right. But anyways, he was saying that it is going to change a lot of things. I know Beard Bros, Skunk, they posted about it.
Yeah, we read it. We read it yesterday. We read it yesterday.
So you guys know what the pharmacist said. And Bill agreed. He said, "At Beard Bros, we see this as an incredible positive from a medical and financial standpoint, but at the same time, a potential game ender for many currently in the cannabis industry. If anyone who endeavors to be in the industry now has to have a federal drug manufacturing license, that would be a death knell for most current companies, large or small." And Lindsay Meharry, aka Oyster Girl, she agreed that this was sus, as she said to me. "While it's a form of progress, it's not exactly a cause for celebration. Rescheduling is mirrored in uncertainty as the current framework of the industry does not fit into the big pharma-run prescription-based model of how other Schedule 3 drugs are created, bought, and sold. Rescheduling does nothing to address the actual issues facing the industry, like letting prisoners out, the plant's role in the prison industrial complex, and the mass extinction of small farms," unquote. And I have to say, I really liked Ed Rosenthal's take. He said, "I must be the only advocate frustrated and angry about the government's plan to slip marijuana from no medical use to restrictions as harsh as for codeine. Thanks a lot. You can shove it." Great words from Ed. But I would say, as we all, I think, probably agree and have seen by now, most feelings are mixed. Vladimir Bautista from Happy Monkey in New York said there are pros and cons, but we're moving the needle in the right direction. All the people who have been fighting for change for 80 years, people who went to prison or got deported over the plant, their work was not done in vain because we're getting the attention of the federal government. And Katie Ennight from Lavinia said, my thoughts, it's a mix. There's an excitement for the opportunities it brings, relief for the societal shift it signals, and cautious optimism for implementation. And I would have to say, the quotes go on and on about that. I think everyone kind of agrees that while it is a, quote, step in the right direction, no one really knows what it actually means. Things could shift greatly for the industry. The consumers were not so sure. I'm working on something, actually hearing from the consumers. That's who I'm most interested in hearing from right now, getting out of the echo chamber that we exist in the industry. So I'm going to put it to you guys. We've heard from the industry. What do you guys think the consumers have to say, or what do you think they believe or think about this movement?
Well, first of all, Rachelle, I personally do not believe that it's a step in the right direction. So I differ from everybody else. Just for the record.
Noted.
Just for the record. Just for the record. But
I think the average consumer doesn't understand.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, the consumer is buying cannabis based off of an antiquated THC number. You think they're going to understand all of this and the nuances that are involved in that?
I don't think
the only thing that they're going to
legislator understands.
The only thing that they're going to understand is when all of a sudden they can't go to their store, or their store can't sell anything because they're state licensed or whatnot, and there's no product that they can sell legally federally because the FDA is going to take everything away.
That's a super fact.
Can you imagine your only choice is going to be CVS mids?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Imagine having to go to Walmart to get some mids, because this is what it's looking like.
I have to say, it's been really interesting to talk to consumers. I would say most of the people that I've talked to throughout this whole thing, they didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah, they don't have a clue. They don't have a clue.
They have no idea. They're not following it. They're not seeing it on their TikTok feeds. And so it's been interesting to try to educate people. My next door neighbor is an active duty military member, and he asked me, he's like, so does this mean that I get to consume now? Not saying that I will, but if I can get a prescription for Tylenol with codeine and that's okay, will I be able to consume it? So I thought that was a very interesting question. I don't hear anybody talking about military yet, or people in positions where right now they're not allowed to consume cannabis.
Well, I look at the legal aspects of it, because once they make it a Schedule 3, basically pharmaceutical companies will own marijuana production, cultivation, distribution. They'll have control of everything. Now, if anyone here watching, you know what happens to you if they catch you with prescription medications that's not in your name, right? You know what happens to you, right?
It's a felony.
So what we're looking at is, for them to open up a new way to criminalize marijuana also. And I don't see people talking about this as well, because once they schedule it to a level 3 and then they put all these restrictions on it, trust you me, they're going to go after the regular people like you and I who just want to be able to enjoy the plant.
Yep. And Rachelle, to your point, I don't see your neighbor being able to get a prescription for cannabis once it goes to Schedule 3. And the reason being is that the FDA already has drug preclusion on THC for Marinol and Epidiolex with a CBD. So therefore, they would say that if you wanted these things, then they would say that you should go and get a prescription for those things, and he's not going to be able to get a prescription for just like going for an eighth of weed. So no, the answer will be no.
What happens when you're underprescribed and you're in Ohio? You can only get a 10th.
That's funny, bro. That's funny, Rico.
Yo, why is Rico so damn funny today?
He's got jokes today. He's got jokes today.
Last night.
Mm-hmm. I bet. Let you tell it.
Oh man, this is the devil's in the details as always. We don't know what it means until it actually means something,
bro. You know,
and my bet is on Jason's foe, Kevin Sabet, bringing the heat with the realness. And telling us exactly when we will get that the pen to the paper, because his sources are better than Jason's.
I think we all know, and I think that every time these people has had some great idea for us, we realize that the idea is not a good one at all. So that's one thing I know. I know that.
You touched on it, Rachel. I said it earlier. They've all talked about the good things, the good parts of this change, but none of them are talking about the bad stuff, because the potential bad stuff is detrimental to this industry. If it goes the way all other Schedule III drugs are handled, this industry's over as we know it. So
yes,
toast.
That's the thing. Now, that's worst case scenario, obviously. So somebody please come out and explain how you're going to handle that. How is cannabis going to be treated differently? That's what we need to know.
And they won't say that because they want to, headed into this election, they want to give a bunch of ambiguous shit to get people's hopes up and get votes.
Mm-hmm. And then not do nothing when it's all said and done, like they do every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Chuck Schumer and them, like my story at the top of the hour, Chuck Schumer and them coming up with their response, like, oh, this is our federal legalization one. And the Republicans, 0 Republicans signed on to that. They have their own plan. We're just going to be gridlocked again. And I think it's just going to be more of the same.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's going to change anytime soon.
No, nothing's going to change. That's for sure.
So,
except for maybe where you go to buy your weed.
But yeah, we got something else to argue about.
When all these pharmacies aren't pharmacies anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. Time will tell. We'll see. We're going to stay tuned.
Pharmacy is,
and we will we'll keep you up to date here at High at Night News.
Yes, indeed. So you got
you ready, Rico?
Are we done? We got a Montega?
We already did.
Okay.
Montega. What do you mean?
I'm already finished.
Yeah, bro. What are you talking about?
Man, I want some of that. What you had today?
Bro,
Did you smoke?
What are you doing,
I want
bro?
some of that.
That was not your blue dream this morning, was it?
That
What'd
was
you have,
not,
Rico?
bro. That was not.
He had purple nurple. It just screwed them all the way up. He's
damn.
Oh my God. I appreciate y'all, man. My fault, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High at 9 News. You can always catch us live weekdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to our super fans showing love, getting their comments posted live on the big screen, our live audience and online supporters, catching us across all media platforms, tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. To our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, bringing this much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the table. Our production team, Cloud Media Partners, the sponsors, keeping our lights on and AV struggles to a minimum. As always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason we show up to read these stories every single day. Thank you. It has been Thursday, May 2nd, 2024. The show's over. You've all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope it was enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News, the cannabis industry's #1 daily news show. And today we're gonna pass it right back to Mr. Stone Slade, man, coming through them shirts. They looking there today, man. He's gonna take us out.
That shirt.
Hey, thank you, Rico. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Look out for the new shirts hitting the High at 9 store soon with your 2 favorite hosts on there. And I don't know. If you're stuck smoking THCA, find a plug because that's all I got.
A plug.